Okay, for the next lesson, we're going to look at how to create a bass line. Now, a bass line is simply, well, our bass line anyway, is just going to use the root notes of the chords that we have in each one of our bars, okay? So, to start this off, I'm going to right-click and insert a new MIDI track. And I'm going to copy our chord progression, and I'm going to paste it onto this new track. Now, our chords in this bar are probably voiced too highly to be suitable for the bass. So we need to drag a box around all the chord notes, hold down Shift on our keyboard and press down. Okay, this drops our chord notes down to where the bass range is generally written. Now that they're selected, I want you to press the 0 key on your keyboard, and that grays out all the notes because we don't need all of them. We only need the bass notes or the root notes of each one. So our first chord is a C minor chord. So I want to find the C, that's the root note of C minor, and enable that note there. The next bar is an A flat major chord. So I'm going to find the A flat and enable that one. Next chord is F minor, enable the F because F is the root note of F minor. And last but not least, our last chord is B flat major. I'm going to find the B flat and enable that enable that note. So then if we have a listen, our bass line should sound something like this. My apologies, we need to add massive to the track. Otherwise the sound doesn't play. I'm going to come to my browser and I'm going to choose a bass sound I like, Deep House 5. Actually Deep House 4 I think I like. Bring that on, and now let's have a listen to our bass line. Cool. I'm going to change this so our bass line only comes in halfway through the build-up. Okay? I'm going to drag this out, and it's going to last until halfway during the drop. Okay? Then I'm going to Option, click, and drag. And that's a copy function. So Option on a Mac or Control, click and drag on a PC. You can also just right-click, copy, click where you want it to go, and press paste. And let's just drag this down so it is the same length as the second half of the drop. Let's double-click on the MIDI notes, and I'm going to delete the notes we don't need that are grayed out. And I'm going to set the grid to quavers. And I'm going to highlight these notes and drag them down. Sorry, they should have all dragged down then. There we go. The computer must have glitched out. Now, I'm going to add quavers to every bar following the root note. Now, a little tip, if you press B on your keyboard, your mouse turns into a pencil and you can just draw in the note that you need, just clicking and dragging along, and it draws it along to the grid. So now in the second half of our drop, we have this driving bass line. So this will work well with our drum beat that we'll learn about in the next lesson. Steps up a little bit and starts to drive the beat, to drive the rhythm behind the track. So this will work really well with our drum beat. Okay, so if we just bring this down a little bit. So just kind of following up what we've done so far, we've got our chords up the top. So we've got our first long chords. We've got our chords with a more of an interesting rhythm. We've got our melody. We've got our melody with a different lead sound down the bottom, and then we layer the two together in the second half of the drop. Then we have long bass notes building up into our through our building up into our drop, where we've got some more long bass notes for the first half of the drop, and then in the second half of the drop we have a more driving rhythm with our bass line. And that's going to work with our drums well in the next lesson. Cool. So once you've completed this and added your bass line to your project, head over to the drum pattern session, to the lesson that's next, and we'll continue on there.